So, we caged a couple of rats back at the guard station.
Just the one rat, although the amount of fuss it was making.
There was a lot of noise.
Yes, I imagine the clanging of Latonk being dragged down the stairs by the pan probably didn't help anything.
I mean, if he'd been dragged by his feet, it would have really made an even bigger noise when the pan was hitting the steps.
You have given me an idea for something to do later. Perhaps it would take my mind off everything in that rat's head. Heads?
It sounded like it was a bit noisy in that hive mind, did you say?
Yes, hundreds of the bloody things, all together and not. Terribly unpleasant. And then the thing in charge of it? I've had things I didn't want to think about before, but I've never had something I didn't want to think about that badly.
And you said they've been moving from town to town and, taking over and destroying, furry locusts.
Yes, essentially just creeping in like damp and then destroying everything. And they want to do it again, but this time there's a problem in that the moths seem to scare them.
Well, I mean, they seem to scare Latonk as well.
I would never presume to know what goes on in that pan of his. Speaking of things that are scared, I am never, ever rooting round in that guard's head again.
That, Gary? Barry?
Jerry?
A timid fella.
Yes. Strange, I can relive every horrible moment of his life and his name still just escapes me.
I wonder if there's a reason for that. Something magical.
I think I just can't care enough.
I mean, that'd probably be it too.
I've tried, I can't. Although someone can, that must be nice for him.
So he was telling us he was thinking about that woman down by the water.
Yes, I do have a few questions. A woman in a robe on the beach? In the water? It was vague, but telling him he was brave and strong and... ugh, poor fool.
I mean, maybe she's not met a lot of people.
I assume if she had met one, she would have enough of a frame of reference.
Not if that one was Barry, Teddy...
Jerry?
something.
No.
Still, I decided to give you all a lift up the hill.
Yes, I have some questions about that. That was quite the impressive trick. Then again, I was quite impressed that Latonk could actually get on... Am I supposed to describe you as a horse, or...?
When I'm a horse, I'm a horse.
I'm not sure. Those ears certainly were out of control still.
Not out of control, I can control them perfectly. Just, a little fuller of ear.
Well, thankfully we were also a little fuller of having a horse.
After about a 30 minutes ride, the three of you and Doggo make your way to the gates of the Moore estate.
Alright, looking over the cliffs, is there any shifty fuckers on the beach?
Oi, you! Fuck off!
like
You
2
saved the
miles
day.
away, just shout, "Hey you! Get out of the water and join the Navy." No, you can't see anyone on the beach. Not even Gary.
So what kind of a horse does Trees even look like?
I think she'd keep the big long floppy ears. So I guess she kind of looks more like an ass than a horse. Probably a fat blue ass. So blue with a mossy green mane and tail, and she's kind of a chunky donkey.
Haven't we seen enough fat blue ass on this already?
Exactly. More fat blue ass in the world.
So like a sea war horse.
I'm down.
Less fishy.
Less fishy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Better personal hygiene.
I'm not responding to that.
Do it, you coward!
When I think blue horse, I just can't help but think of the My Little Pony horses. That's all I see.
Yeah, I'd like to be a My Little Pony. That's cool.
My Little Journey, now with extra floopy ears.
It's the best thing.
It's true.
Yeah.
All right, so the blue horse pulls up pulls up.
How do
Blue
we
horse
put a handbrake on, or is that a bit too personal for the first date?
saunters up to the Moore estate. You notice that the grounds look a lot cleaner. The whole place actually looks nicer. Again, before I said there was some kind of weird, like, otherworldly glow around the castle. It's still there, but it doesn't look ominous now.
Ooh.
Almost like it's interacting with the sun correctly.
Yeah.
A lot of the dead foliage outside and just kind of weird decorations on the exterior of the manor have been removed or replaced. And most notably enough, you see a large banner of the house that you represent draped off the side.
Way.
Recognized.
Well done. I feel special now.
Yeah.
Wow.
In the courtyard, you see Harvey just kind of tending to the grounds idly.
I want to know if trees would recognise the banner or just be really confused by it. Like, why are there roses on the walls? Good answer.
Or question, I mean, you don't know.
Nothing.
Or a good joke.
Could have been comedy gold. I mean, we did bring Jen to be the funny one.
Harvey hears trees just kind of sputtering.
You don't know what a horse
Yeah.
says, do you?
I'm trying to think of the
Chuffing?
appropriate.
Winnie.
Yeah, whinnying, I guess.
Yeah.
And
That's the louder
turns
one, not the huffy one.
I suppose it's Huff.
turns and waves at you all.
Okay. Enough's just going to go for a dignified nod instead of a big gleeful wave. Dismount and walk over to him.
Lieutenant's going to follow, but doesn't really know he's there. He's just following enough.
All right. Trees, will you follow as a horse?
As a horse, yeah.
Okay. So the gates creak open, and then you all walk onto the manor. Harvey notices the horse. He's not going to say anything, but he catches Enough's attention and kind of gestures back to the banner. That's not much, but it's the best that I could do on pretty short notice.
It's wonderful. I appreciate the gesture, my lord. Have we caught you at a good time?
As good as any. How can I help?
Wonderful. We've just been interrogating a were-rat.
He furrows his brow at that. How did you manage that?
We killed its friend, dragged it to jail by the tendons in its wrists, put it there, and read its mind. How else does one interrogate a were-rat?
He laughs. I haven't heard it done before, so I was curious.
Ah.
We would have interrogated 2 were-rats, but we had a friend who, if I remember rightly, chopped one in half.
No, that was one of the humans. They got uppity with him.
Yeah.
I think we'd have had 2, but unfortunately it just didn't want to knock out enough. It just refused to be knocked out.
Harvey nods, like, understandably. Got yourself a fine steed there.
and she's just going to sort of bat her horsey eyelashes.
I love the idea that you think this is a disguise, but you're blue and green and have furball gears with us.
Harvey will stroke Trees' mane.
Trees will continue giving him the eye.
Excellent.
Oh. Anyway, despite your seeming lack of panic at the fact that there are were-rats in your town, there's an infestation. They intend to decimate the entire village and move on like a plague of locusts, as they have done many times before. They are aware of you, specifically. They referred to you as a creature of light, and their master, which they are terrified of, is very interested in you. I saw a shady mental image of a vaguely demonic creature near the sewer outlets at the base of your manor.
He's continuing to just pet trees and kind of taking all of this in. Me specifically, huh?
Very specifically.
Why would that be?
Can't tell you why. I mean, this family, this estate has always believed that guarding these waters are a noble purpose. But I couldn't tell you why specifically.
So, does creature of light mean nothing in particular to you?
He kind of grimaces. Sounds a lot like something my brother would say.
Speaking of, is he doing better for your return?
He's been in an improved mood. Being productive, less. He kind of looks back at the manor. Destructive.
Did you get the chair off the wall yet?
Yeah, that took some doing. He put it up there with some kind of magic.
And it's just gonna sort of bury her head in her hands a bit. Just why? So, given that this is, after all, your town, is there anything particularly you can do for the people here?
Do how? I'm not unmoved by their plight. I want to help, but I'm not sure what I can do.
Well, I was hoping you'd be able to tell us. There is obviously a reason why the creature is disturbed by you. Have you encountered were-rats before?
We have encountered werewolves, demons, dragons, fought through history, as far back as I can remember anyways. Wouldn't shock me that something considers me an adversary, but were-rats particular, can't say I recall.
Can I do an insight to see if I think he's hiding anything from me?
Yeah.
7.
You do not believe he's hiding anything from you.
I feel like with the 7 I'd believe anything. Well, if no specific experience with were-rats, what about hive minds?
He pauses. That's a more interesting question. Maybe one or two. I don't know all were-rats to have hive minds, though. This one does.
Yes. To be clear, my lord, hundreds. This isn't a small issue.
No. He squints and kind of like looks upward. He goes trees from stroking your mane to just kind of like rubbing the underside of your neck while just kind of inspecting your ears idly.
Just to let it happen.
Okay.
Bring Thomas with us, I can't remember. We didn't, did we?
Thomas did not go with you.
Speaking of ships.
I mean, like, the chances of it raining axes just gone right down today.
Probably a good thing for you.
Yeah, Enough's happy about it, but Latonk, he might not be so pleased.
Just like his own personal little raincloud pattering down on his palm. Sad music plays.
Axes keep raining on the plane.
Maybe one day a magic enough axe will free Latonk from his pan.
We haven't actually tried yet. I feel like we should try at some point.
I don't know if that feels inappropriate at this point.
It's on there good enough that Thomas can just drag Latonk around by the handle.
Yeah, I've picked him up by it before.
So, anyways, he goes to speak, but then stops and says, "All right. Well, our house is in service to you, so I'll take your input very seriously. What do you think we should be doing?"
I think you should get your spear and take us down to the sewers and let's kill us a fucking hive mind.
Thank you, Latonk. One impression I definitely got was that they are afraid of their master, who definitely does not seem to be one of them. The creature itself, when I spoke to it, it was driven by a need to infiltrate, destroy, and turn people None of these were necessary, none of these were inescapable urges, simply what it was being used to do. So I would focus more on destroying the leader, and hopefully the were-rats themselves, when freed of him, will be, well, free to not act that way.
How was that anything different to what I just said?
A little more specific, dear.
I was like, let's go kill the hive mind. You just spent like 5 minutes saying, let's kill the hive mind.
Yeah,
Well,
but just the boss. Like, I didn't want to go through every member of the hive mind.
I thought there was a single lord sort of thing.
Lord Were-Rat.
You said it was a...
Well, one, we're calling it Lord Were-Rat from now on. But two, I think the driving force and everything in the hive mind, like, you have to be specific. Because they're all part of the hive mind. Lord Were-Rat on his own isn't a hive mind, he's just a dick.
No, but if we kill that, then the hive mind dissipates.
Or at least isn't being driven by a
Dick.
glowy-eyed shady bugger. Yeah, dick.
So what do you think?
Down with things being driven by dicks.
On that day, Volvo lost their entire market.
I would have thought you'd have gone Audi, but okay. I guess you don't drive, you don't know.
Latank, did you ask Harvey what he thinks?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it sounds like we lack a lot of information still. But it also sounds like this isn't something that will be solved terribly easily or without a lot of input. Where's the mayor?
The last I heard of the mayor, both from Guard Captain Reed, was that he was incompetent, and then that the Guard Captain himself was acting mayor. I don't know if that means that the man was so incompetent he couldn't be found, or so incompetent that he will never be found again.
That'd put Reed in charge right now, right?
Yes, he's doing quite remarkably.
For somebody with no experience in politics, that's not going to bode well for him for too long.
No, he is operating on goodwill, not power.
Think it'd benefit for me to be down there.
What do you two think? Because I'm not sure if the town would just, like, shank him for leaving them to rot or not.
I think we could do with a spear to kill the hive mind.
Oh, we haven't even tipped the estate. I bet it's got some cool magical junk we can nick.
Wow.
You said it out loud.
Right, assume if I say it in Northern that no, and if I say it in slightly fancier than yes.
Just the mental image of enough being like, oh man, this is my place now. There's some shit we can nick in here.
That is not what she would do, but that is probably what she would think. At the end of the day, he's there for the town, not the other way around, so his shit's their shit.
So if you steal from him, you're stealing from the town.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask him for stuff.
The greater bad.
No, that's the Were-Rat Queen.
Lord.
Creature.
Regent.
So we don't actually have an answer for if he should come down to the town or not. I don't see why not.
Because he's got a spear and he can help us kill the hive mind.
Well, do you want to go check the beach first? Maybe Doggo can have a sniff.
I feel like I should clarify to James, Trees never gave the spear back. In fact,
You're probably really upsetting him.
Harvey was like, yeah, that's mine. It's pretty upsetting that my brother gave that to you, but oh well. And briefly for a minute, Trees felt robbed that he could fly, but the spear could not. But the spear does let you fly.
Well, I think it was his idiot mistake for telling her that. I suppose it means we can trust him, but...
That's Trees' input.
Alright, so does anyone have any problems with... See if he's got any cool magical stuff, go have a look at the beach, and then take him into the town?
I'm going to go look at the beach with Doggo. I have no interest in magical items.
Tree shakes her head.
Well, that's helpful.
Could Trees have some...
This or that?
It's a no. She does not mind the thing that is going...
Oh, you don't mind?
That's what I'm saying. No. No mind.
So you'll go into the manor. Because that part's not clear.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you ever going to come out with, like, horse form, or is that just you now?
I don't know. What is he stroking at this point?
I mean, the entire time he's just been kind of like inspecting you as a horse, but now he's kind of moved on to your back and shoulders. It does feel nice. He's like massaging you
That's
as
why
a
I haven't
horse.
stopped him.
Yeah.
So apparently it's just enough that's nobody's type.
Oh, you haven't met that many people yet.
How many people have come onto Latonk?
What?
How many people have come onto Latonk?
Oh, Thomas is your boy.
Yeah, that's true. We ship it.
I don't know if he's happy with that.
He's giving
You
me some
don't
serious
got Thomas.
side eye if you meant James.
What, James? Wow.
Ship.
Ship.
He's just staring at me. Make him stop.
Ship.
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 We ship it.
We ship it.
Ship what?
Relationship.
What?
We
Latonk
think
and
you
Thomas.
should do Thomas's snuggles.
Latonk is gonna jump off the cliff.
Chunky salsa roll.
All right. So,
Okay, so I think the last thing that we were actually asked is if he should come to the town or not.
I thought we were going in the castle.
I thought I was going to the beach with Dogger.
Right. To the beach, via the castle, then the town.
Sold.
Ah!
What do you want?
Go to the fucking beach and kill someone.
Alright, well, how about we just go in just ask him if there's anything in the manor that we can use to kill things at the beach more effectively, and then we'll go straight to the beach.
Alright.
Okay?
This is going to be the rest of the episode. What?
What?
You just spend the rest of the episode trying to get something magical from...
I feel bad. James, you said no, we don't have to do more combat, but it's very clear you are bloodthirsty.
It's the tongue.
Bloodthirsty murder
Not me.
hobo.
Nothing to do with me.
It's
He's
not,
even drinking Fanta Fruit Twist. It's like he's chugging blood before the battle.
it's not me. It's my character. I don't know if I give you points for that or not.
It's got to be worth an inspiration, though, right?
I've already got one inspiration.
Okay, so I'm going to actually answer the man's question after we seemingly have stood in silence having,
Just
like,
staring at
silent
each other.
conversation. Yeah, just meaningful eyebrow wiggles.
I think that's like Trees' first language before Furball.
Just meaningful wiggling.
Meaningful eyebrow wiggling.
I'm not sure how much enough could communicate with their eyes, considering that they're just, like, glassed over mirrors. Okay.
The tongue can't communicate with his eyes.
Yeah, how have you been having this conversation?
Impatient taps of his foot.
Just muttering under his breath, I want to go to the beach and kill something. I'm going to go to the beach. I'm going to go to the beach.
He's gone full Muttley on us.
Just hand twisting, wrist twitching. Just a need for blood on this pan again.
It's what keeps the rust off, is it?
Oh,
Stainless steel, bitch.
Oh!
Jesus.
Tell you he's not getting laid tonight. It's me, isn't it?
There are no words.
Probably the right amount.
So,
Yeah. I'm just going to answer the man's question and pretend that the last 20 minutes didn't happen. If it wouldn't be keeping you from anything more important, then yes, my lord, I feel like your input may be gratefully received, if only for the sake of morale and appearances. However, given the age of this estate and the adventures of your family, is it possible that you may have some equipment that may help us with the were-at problem? So far, we are aware that certain spells can show them up, such as detect magic, and it is a magical curse, but a bite doesn't seem to be the end of someone, and she's just going to gesture to a tail.
Well, nothing's more important than the well-being of the people here. We're not charged with just protecting the waters, but the people of this land. Now, you can take a look around. I'm sure the cast-off family wouldn't mind a few items being used in their service. Although, I do believe my brother was working on some gifts for you to make up for his behavior.
Well, that's very sweet of him.
I wonder if it's a new wall chair.
A new
Is that
what?
just the decor
Oh,
now?
wall
This chair is not like any other chair.
Because it goes on the wall. Yeah. Well, perhaps if we speak to him briefly, I would quite like to see the beach beneath the manor, if you would care to accompany us. I'm sure it would be expedited with a guide that knows the area well. And then, if nothing turns up, onward to the town?
Sure. Beach is not really accessible from the manor, but I can always fly you down there.
She's just gonna look at the horse.
Yeah, your beautiful steed here, she might have to make her way down on foot.
What's he stroking right at this moment?
He would have gotten to like your lower back, almost hind area.
Okay.
No,
I'm
no,
gonna-
Nick, say chest scritches. Do it, because I know where this is going.
I'm going to turn back into my lovely self. I'm going to say, "Oh, that was brilliant. Cheers, Mush.
Oh,
Oh, I feel so much more relaxed now. You're wonderful with your hands, you know."
Trees, where have you been?
I just give you a lift up here.
Ah, my apologies, Latonk. Do you recall that Trees disappeared at about the moment that the horse...
Yeah, Trees said she was going to show us something, and then the horse came up, and then we started riding to the manor. I'm a bit confused.
I'm the bloody horse, you dimwit.
That makes sense.
Yes, druids, some of them shapeshift.
Were rats and were horses.
I love the fact
I
that
mean,
she's a werehorse
basically.
to you now.
where rats and where horses.
Just whinny at the full moon and eat carrots.
Sugar cubes too.
How high is the cliff?
Is Latonk asking? Because Latonk would have absolutely no idea.
I mean,
You could ask out loud, someone could tell him.
yeah, the tonk asks out loud. How tall's the cliff?
It's pretty steep.
Distance.
You could take a dive off it, and once. I mean, I could do it a bunch of times, but
You're asking for your slow fall ability, aren't you?
I was going to be cool and try and be discreet, but you fucking ruined it.
It wasn't discreet, we all knew what you were doing.
I'm going to be like
I
fucking Altier.
How far is it, Nick, in feet?
in feet, it's like over 300 feet.
I'll fucking fuck me up. Is there a hay bale at the bottom?
Just a cart.
That's why I was talking around it. I also knew what you wanted to do, and I didn't want to be like, no, it's too far.
Oh, you just wanted to mess us around.
By the way, I'm going to become quite interested in distances between high places and the ground from now on.
I mean, fair.
I've got no eyes! Somebody tell me how far it is!
I
You
was
need to get a little sack of rocks and just drop them off things and see how long it takes to land.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you'd become like a daredevil, just clicking your tongue and trying to figure out distance around.
Just dropping pebbles on passers-by and really annoying them.
So less like
Fucking
daredevil.
move! I'm trying to figure out distance, you tit.
Close enough for me to come up there and fucking hit you, lad.
Let's see him
The-
try.
The tonk's on a cliffside, drops it off, and he hears it hit a bird. So he's like, "Oh, it's pretty close."
Ah.
So, was the Havig actually going to react to the fact that Trees was the horse all along?
Yeah, he gives like a bit of surprise, but
Really?
and kind of like what?
What's his perception like? Minus 100?
The tongue didn't know.
Oh.
It's a fucking horse.
The tonk is operating
fucking
at minus
glowing green
100
horse.
perception.
With furball gears.
Yeah, and to be fair, Laton couldn't see it. I'm pretty sure if Laton could see the horse, he would be like, "Oh, that's probably not just a horse." Oh, he kind of looks down at his hands and looks at trees. Good trick. I've been told I'm good with my hands.
I can do it again later if you like.
Yeah, maybe.
Do a lot for a sugar cube.
Enough's just gonna sort of like start trailing away, just like scratching her horns a bit and looking awkward.
So, yeah, you want to go inside, right?
Sure.
To be clear, Trees, do you want him to go inside at some point, or...?
I was going to say, that was fucking...
As long as I don't have to be a horse at the time.
What's wrong
Oh
with
no,
being
we're
a
not
horse?
having this conversation again.
I thought we were. I thought that's where this series
No.
had degenerated into.
I think we're trying to steer it away from that direction.
This is not what I intended.
Just trying to
when
make
we
James
first
feel
set
more
out.
included.
James/Latonk has two interests in this game: combat
Exactly.
and the subject of bestiality.
Not the practice, just the academics of
Is
it.
Yeah.
it bestiality?
The morality,
Exactly.
ethics, and discussion. What constitutes it? Important questions.
Give a whole new meaning to the word filler. Should we go inside?
Yes, Harvey will lead you all in. The inside of the manor is also corrected. Mostly, like, you can see some combative elements. There's paintings and now proper tapestries, rugs. It's correctly lit. Occasionally, there's like objects that seem out of place, just like a helmet, just on one of the side of the banister, and just like a clock sitting somewhere that it shouldn't be, also facing the wall.
How do we know it's a clock?
You
It'll
probably
look like
don't.
a
It
clock.
looks like a clock. You
A
would
clock
know.
facing the wall.
Okay, so it's like a small grandfather clock,
Right, okay.
but it's just
How would
facing
you
the
know it was
wall.
a clock anywhere? Because it's ticking.
That's what I mean.
Well, like, if it was a modern clock, then it'd just be a ticking circle on the wall.
Well, let's just assume it's not a modern clock then.
It is not a modern clock.
Trust me, right? If I got a modern clock, stick it on the wall, facing the wall, people would look at it and go, "What the fuck's that?" And I'd be like, "It's a clock, you fucking morons."
I'd look at it and go, why the fuck's it that way around? You're the moron.
But no, it's a grandfather clock. Right, good.
Okay. Enough's going to, like, look at the paintings. Ah! That reminds me, my lord. So, Trees, could I have that picture, please?
Sure, yeah.
Now, as you can see, this is the painting you sent through to us at the Peacock's Feather. Is it intact and how it was dispatched?
Harvey inspects the painting that you hand to him. Looking at it, kind of smoothing it over with his hands, he nods and hands it back to you. Yeah, that looks right. Got to you okay then?
Yes. Is there any potential that you could perhaps make a gateway between here and the town?
He brings his hand to his chin thoughtfully. We haven't done it in some time and have to figure out a way for somebody to watch over it, but yeah, I think we could do that.
Ah, well, there is no rush. Simply we seem to come here in a hurry quite often.
Well, you're our larger house now. You're always welcome here.
I appreciate that, sir. Speaking of visiting, your brother?
What about him?
We were hoping to see him as well. Is he available?
Harvey kind of pauses and just looks behind you.
Enough's just gonna roll her eyes and turn round.
There's nothing behind you. I really thought he'd be there.
Well, shit.
However, as you turn back around,
Lord Moore, delighted.
the pleasure is all mine. How may I be of assistance, my good liege lordess? Lady? Liege. And he turns back around to Harvey, and he just mouths the word lady.
I serve the noble house. I am not a member. Yes. I'm just going to fill him in on everything about the were-rats, and then ask him if he can give us a little help.
A troubling development indeed. What could this noble house more do for you?
Well, I've spoken to your brother, and unfortunately he is not particularly familiar with were-rats. If you could find something that would help us with that, or help us to fight them, then that would be much appreciated. Trees, any suggestions?
Just any way of picking up magic a bit easier. Some sort of way we can work out who's aware at or not.
Yes, I believe I can procure from the depths of the Moor vaults. He takes a quick glance over at Latonk and at Enough as well. If you allow me just a moment. He waves his hands and just there's a puff of smoke and then he fades.
That was impressive.
That explains it.
What exactly does it explain?
Well, I've never heard the man take a step when I wasn't looking at him.
I can't say I was really paying attention to his shoes.
Have you noticed many puffs of smoke about the place?
No, and I'm usually sniffing really hard for those.
After another moment, you don't smell the smoke or see it, but you do hear Harvey walking back up from behind you, his arms filled with some goodies.
Goodies!
He takes a moment to pause between the three of you, handing you each a small parcel, although Trees is much less small. To you, my tall friend, I present this staff. It's much like your own. I believed you would be familiar with it. It carries the same spiritualistic, ritualistic energies that reside within your enormous frame.
Ooh, that's impressive. So, how does that work exactly? Mechanically?
Are you asking him or are you asking me?
I should be asking you.
Okay. You will be able to use your detect magic ritual. It can be expended once per hour.
Okay.
Afterwards, it will take time to recharge from the time you use it. Oh, yeah, it's instantaneous.
Okay.
So while you're doing those notes, he's going to go to Enough. Now, I took the liberty of procuring these from some older, more wizarding novels. These bracers, he unveils some leather bracers, should serve you quite nicely. I understand my liege emissary is somewhat lacking in protection.
I appreciate the gesture, my lord, but unfortunately I've never learned how to cast in armor properly. My job is destruction.
He frowns but kind of nods thoughtfully. I ask, you're familiar with the use of mind magics?
Indeed, my lord.
I could not help but overhear that you delved into some recently.
You must have excellent hearing, my lord.
I hear all within these hallowed halls. It is a burden. I know when my good brother traipses about in the evening, when his stomach does not agree with him, it is a curse.
That must make parties a terrible burden.
Oh yes. It is a delight and a curse. Harvey kind of shoots him a sideways glance. Now, I would ask, only with no breach of privacy, have you entered the minds of those more familiar with close combat than yourself?
I've entered the mind of a guard. I'm not sure if he's ever seen combat. Perhaps glancing over his shoulder.
Interesting. A warrior in name alone. Most fascinating.
He's not that interesting, actually.
Warrior might be a bit far.
Yes.
Well,
Maybe
regardless.
he was doing yoga.
He's very good at moving in armor. Not in the same direction as Danger.
you may be able to procure some knowledge of your own. Perhaps you already have.
Enough's gonna give him the side eye, but try the braces on anywhere.
All right.
Can I do straps, though?
Is enough not good with straps?
It's more Trees' department.
As you put them on, they seem more or less straightforward. You're not sure. Maybe it was a mental block. Maybe it did have something to do with diving into Gary's mind. But they slip on fairly easily, and you don't feel them overly restrictive on your wrists. They definitely are something extra, but you don't feel like they'll prevent you from casting.
Okay. Is that any mechanical benefit? Or
Yes.
do they just look cool?
You do see just some inlaid leather work, and a crudely drawn rose appears on the leather as well. The paint on that appears to be pretty wet or fresh. Lastly, but not leastly, I present, and he brings a small package to you, Latonk. He's brought it right in front of your pan.
I take it.
Okay. He's watching you eagerly. Everybody kind of awkwardly standing around as William seems to not quite put together that you don't know what to do with the thing in your hand. After about a minute of just standing there awkwardly, Harvey just coughs, shuffles over to you, and just kind of unwraps them for you. You can't see, William. Oh, yes, of course. Not all of us are blessed with omniscient sight. My apologies for my dear, height-challenged friend. I present these wraps that were blessed by the 7 deities. They will no doubt aid you in your fight against creatures of the night. At this point, William picks up the wraps, which is what they are, and places them in your hands. He's watching you pretty eagerly.
Latonk is aware of what they are, but he doesn't want weapons, and he doesn't want to be so sort of dickish as to refuse a present. So he's going to be like, "Oh man, I've always wanted some of these," and then he's going to wrap them around his pan. Yeah.
Enough's just gonna scratch her hands awkwardly. So, my lords, our plan so far is to head to the beach beneath the manor to see if we can find anything from the area I suppose remembered Lord Wereat being, and perhaps see about where that guard was sneaking off to. How would you suggest we get there?
Well, the simplest way would be off the cliffs of this estate. You got my spear. You should be able to get down there well enough.
How exactly does the spear work then? I kind of assumed it was just a stick and you could fly anyway.
Well, I can use my own abilities of flight to enhance its power, but it can give you similar, though not on the same level, gifts of flight. Pretty straightforward as long as you grasp it and you are able to channel your own magical energy through it. You should be able to get down there.
And can I get these two down as well?
If it were me, I'd say no. You, pretty sure you could bring all of us.
Cool. Right, before we go, Lordsmore, could I interest you in some fine wares you are currently redecorating? And I thought one of my more artistic pieces might suit you down to the ground.
Both Harvey and William kind of exchange looks. Harvey, a lot less enthusiastic. What is it that you sell?
I am selling these fine bespoke wooden dildos. I carved them myself. And this one I am particularly proud of.
Harvey takes a step back and goes, you know what? I don't, but William draws closer. Fascinating. Tell me more.
I rolled really high when I was trying to whittle it, right? um, I don't know. I just felt something within me as I was whittling. I mean, it might have been my previous one, but anyway. So I was just really happy with the way this one came out, and I personally spent quite a good amount of time sanding it down, making it perfectly smooth, lacquering it, and you could use it yourself, or maybe put it up as one of your amazing art pieces. I must say, I'm terribly sad about the chair coming down.
Oh,
Yes.
You're encouraging him.
Yes. I knew that you were an artiste like myself. I lack the vision, the artistic gifts that my brother has. But a purveyor of the arts is what I truly fancy myself as. Would you mind if I would inspect your creation?
Sure thing. I hand a dick to Willie.
I wish I could give you. I wish there was a way for me to give you bonus XP for that.
Give me inspiration.
Yeah, sure. All right.
Yay.
William takes it gingerly in his hands, as Harvey's like, "Well, no, we'll put it down." But William is ignoring him. This is truly fascinating. Do you have a subject in mind?
I'm basically just looking for cash.
Yes. I meant about the creation of this piece. Do you envision a story when something is created, or perhaps you allow it to simply move through you?
I hope that at some time it will move through me, generally speaking. Especially one as fine as this. Can't say I actually got round to testing this. We've been a bit busy of late. But yeah, I like to think of something growing in my mind, and then I just let it all out all over the floor. In wood carvings, obviously.
Marvelous. He kind of rolls it over in his hands, inspecting it, like knocking on it. After a few moments longer, he takes it and kind of possessively holds it to his chest, and he goes, "My friend, I simply must have it. How much?"
Ideally, I'm looking for about like 10 gold. I'm not greedy. I just want to make my funds back up.
Will throws a glance backwards over his shoulder towards Harvey, who's just got his hand buried in his face buried in his hands. I would be more than happy to purchase this, to procure this one-of-a-kind bespoke art from you. However, I have only, he makes a flourish with his hand, his free hand, and produces a extremely lustrous silver-looking coin.
That's pretty lustrous, that. Can I roll insight on it?
Yeah.
9.
You're not sure what this is, but you can tell just by looking at it that it's worth way more than 10 gold.
That's a bit fancy. What's the story of that then?
The other realms, other places require different currency. This is a coin from a far-off realm, a realm of lovely angels.
That sounds lovely. Well, if you're happy with that trade, I'm happy with that trade. You certainly do have an eye for the finer things.
He gingerly places the coin in your palm and then lifts his new art. He says, "I will hang this from a glorious silver chain. It will be suspended and glare over the landscape."
Oh, that'll look lovely.
Harvey says, it will dangle over one of your rooms and nowhere public."
Enough to
So-
just shamefacedly apologise and then start gesturing to the beach or anywhere but the situation.
Yeah. So you were looking to get down to those shores.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm not as committed to staying alive doing it as I was a moment ago, but yes, my lord.
Well, the spirit can get you down there. I'd be more than happy to accompany you.
Oh, that'd be lovely. Party. I like
Hooray.
them So, edge of the cliff. Everybody, grab on.
I like the image of Latonk's little hand wraps just flapping jauntily in the wind on his pan now.
I could show you the world.
James, are you wearing the hand wraps, or are they wrapped on your pan?
They're wrapped around the pan.
Okay.
I didn't realise until after I said it, but I imagine it would actually give the impression of a turban, but with like a pan handle sticking out of it.
I was more
thought you were
picturing
going
just
with-
like when someone ties the tie around their head.
Yeah, that's what I was picturing too. But...
I mean, yeah, but I imagine hand wraps are actually quite long.
They are. It's like 100 feet of cloth.
So you could mummify a pan with that, yeah?
Yeah.
So it's looking like a tiny cloth Dalek at this point.
Especially considering Latonk's size, he'd be a lot smaller. So you might be able to get like the top bit of your head too.
I prefer the idea of building upwards, and then like eventually we can get some googly eyes or something and stick them on.
All right. William says, I will see you off, but Housemore must always have a guardian. Myself and good Sir Benjamin shall keep the homestead safely in check.
You knighted the rat.
Sir Benjamin has always been a knight.
That
I
seems
thought you'd
quite
only just met.
impressive. Like knighthood's bestowed upon you. Like to be born a sir seems quite. Sorry, maybe just going on a pedantic tangent.
A pedantient, if you will.
Sir Benjamin, in his service with Housemore, has been a knight far longer than I have been alive. I'm sure that he was not born a knight.
So, he's what, undead or just magic or?
He's a rat, Trees. We
They
found
is
him in the
sensitive.
cellar.
You have not seen Sir Benjamin on your return. Sir
No.
Benjamin! You hear a clank from above you as William Harvey is like, "Oh, come on, no, let's just go. He's trying to usher you out the door, but you hear the clanks from behind you grow quicker and quicker, and suddenly, a large suit of armor is standing near you.
All right.
Good Sir Benjamin, our friends wished to see you off, or wished you to see them off. The armor waves.
All right, Benji. What?
He looks a little different to how I remember.
Bit taller. Less squeaky.
Sir Benjamin's squeaky joints, they have followed him in life after life. It is unfortunate. Some things are destined to be. Sir Benjamin's chronic pain, it ails him so.
He's destined to be forever in pain.
Well, no.
Joint pain as well.
I sense I'm destined to be forever confused in this place. How did a rat don armor?
Ah, of course. That's what she meant. He walks over and pries the chest piece open, and inside you see, like, latched to this one panel of armor, the ball with the rat inside of it.
Right. And you knew this when we fished him out of the cellar?
It took a moment, but a noble servant of House Moore can always be identified by a lord.
That's impressive.
At this point, like, Harvey just kind of whispering to you, yeah, okay, he thinks the rat is Benjamin. Could be. I was never good at it. Never good at telling alternate forms, but you're gonna just sit here all day.
So it might be real. He might actually be the rat.
Well, anyone put through the process enough without bits of who they originally were can come back as different things.
Right. No, that's fine. That's
Enough's gonna straighten herself up. politely bow to William and Sir Benjamin. Well, it was a delight to see you both. I hope to see you again sometime, but we really must head off. And then just starts backing away.
Okay. Cling on then, let's head down. And I'm gonna channel my magic into my spear.
All right. So, yeah, Harvey quickly ushers you out to the back. Just if you're curious, the back of the Moore estate does have a nicely elaborate gardens overlooking the cliffside. He quickly leads you to the cliffside, which you can see a large, steep, rocky downhill. You definitely think going down on foot or just jumping off would have led to your death. This you feel like you might be able to survive if you can indeed fly. Who wants to fly down with Harvey?
I volunteer the dog.
You wanna throw my dog down there?
With the man who can definitely fly, I feel like I'm taking more of a chance on you.
I volunteer enough.
I was suggesting that we take off from the cliff rather than just launch ourselves down there. We'll go up a bit, and then if it works, we'll go up a bit, and then that'll be fine. Otherwise, there's a risk of just falling straight down. You don't think I'm just going to jump off a cliff? What kind of maniac do you think I am?
It's not the initiation, it's the maintenance.
Fair. You're still not throwing my dog on the cliff?
Fine. Take your damn dog. I'll go with his lordship. Latonk,
Yes,
would you prefer to levitate down with trees or myself?
trees.
See you at the bottom then.
All right. So the launch is fairly simple. Trees channeling your magical energy through the staff. You feel it through the spear. You feel it crackle in response and lift you slightly. It's actually quite easy to guide yourself up into the air and then down the cliffside. You're kind of surprised at how easy it is. With both Doggo and Latonk under one arm, the spear guides you easily down towards the shores.
Choppy's business.
Enough in Harvey's grasp, who again is shorter than you. You feel a surge of magical energy, but there's definitely, you can tell it's straining him. In spite of that, the flight is just as smooth as you saw Tree's descent.
How was your trip?
Painless enough. I'm not sure exactly where we head from here, but I'll know it when I see it. Do you want a perception from me?
Yeah.
Oh, 3. It's definitely a beach, probably.
You do. You are aware distinctly that you were on a beach.
I'm just going to ask Harvey. Would looking for some sort of sewer outlet, if you know where that is.
I'm probably talking about the one beneath the estate. It's easier to see if we walk a bit up the shore, maybe about a quarter mile.
Lead on.
So the bit on the beach that you're at now is pretty rocky. A lot less people come over here. Walking along the shore, the sand becomes smaller, smoother, softer. Yeah, about quarter mile from where you guys landed, you're able to see the sewer outlet, drainage going into the sea.
This can't be good for the fishes, right?
How so?
I mean, they're swimming in sewer water. There's sad rats in that. Some of them are were rats.
Well, I suppose it is a lot of the estate's wastewater. Not that there's much wastewater anymore, but feeds directly into the sea. It's high enough up. Suppose I hadn't really thought about it, if I'm being honest.
See, that's the problem. No one really thinks about the environment. Just hope it's still going to be there next year.
Harvey nods. He doesn't really have anything to say to that, but he nods.
Okay.
So now we've traipsed a bit closer. Do you want another perception?
Yeah.
11.
You are on a beach, and you think you're roughly around where the visions arose.
A rose.
Well, we're in Gary's mind, anyways.
Oh, I was more side-eyeing you for the pun, but okay.
Yes. But, I'm the DM. I'm not allowed to just give myself inspiration on stuff. Where you are is definitely a place where a lot more of the townsfolk have come. I'm kind of assuming that you guys are all kind of looking around, exploring, trying to figure out this area.
Yeah, trying to see if either anything gets triggered from the mind reading, or if I can find anything that seems particularly were-rat related, like a clue.
Okay. So why don't we do this, actually? Harvey's just standing there, just kind of looking around. Why don't the three of you describe what your characters are doing, and I can give you more direct feedback rather than try and just give you generalized description.
Enough's trying to find the exact spot that she saw the were-rat from.
Mm-hmm.
Trees is going to be trying to find some small animal or something to try and talk to.
Okay.
I don't know what Latonk's going to be doing.
Throwing a stick-foot dog.
So will Latonk just be standing there?
Yeah, Latonk's just standing there contemplating life.
Contemplating life. All right. Enough. It's difficult. You know that you're roughly in the same area. This is definitely the right view, but you don't know how many memories are blended together from your vision that you stole from Gary.
It'll have been Alan the were-rat.
Or Alan. It's clouded, but for a different reason. You know that there's a big sense of dread and fear here, so the scene itself just kind of shifts. After a while enough, you feel like you've found the exact spot. The distance looks right. It's matching up to how it is in the vivid memory that you had. You're like just on the cusp of getting into the water, and maybe on higher tides you would already be in the water.
Okay. Enough's going to explain to the others that this is where she saw it, and the emotion that the hive mind had with this scene, how scared they are of the Lord, how unpleasant it is, but she's not getting anything that is particularly productive.
The Tonk just kind of standing around. You can hear the town not too far off from here. You're a ways away for isolation, but it is close enough that you feel like most people can get here pretty easily.
Okay.
And trees, there's very little in the way of animals. Eventually, like a sandpiper kind of flies by, and
You're right. Oh.
It looks up at you quizzically.
You haven't seen like a Lord of Rats or something around here, have you?
It now looks up at you confusedly.
All right. Thanks anyway. Tweet.
I don't know. The sandpiper flies away.
Bloody sandpipers.
Well, since that was fruitless, maybe you could bother some fish. If nothing else, they might make a good lunch for the dog if they're useless.
Fishes. Hello.
Are you going to wade into the water?
I'm not going to wade. I'm going to sort of just shout from near the shore.
You do not get any response.
Enough's going to try and explain sarcasm to her.
What do I roll to resist that?
Resist understanding the sarcasm?
Yes.
I don't know, wisdom, I guess.
Am I rolling against
24.
her? I can't win. I got
No,
17.
See, why did you roll?
Should I roll?
I wanted to see if I could force her to learn. Apparently no, you cannot force trees to learn.
She understood the sarcasm.
Damn it.
That's exactly what she didn't want.
Yeah,
I rolled really well as well.
Yeah,
I understood.
that's what I mean. In order to misunderstand the sarcasm with your natural wisdom, you would have to have been oblivious.
Damn
You
it.
were not.
Is it a sunny day?
It is. It's a very clear day.
The Tonk's gone to try and find a rock pool because, from personal experience, on sunny days, rock pools can get quite warm. So he's gone to try and find somewhere he can have a sit down in some warm water.
Fully clothed?
Well, yeah,
I mean, it's just going to, dry off, isn't it? It's a sunny day.
just comfort.
Harvey sees Latong just kind of wander off and says nothing.
So, since this has yielded nothing, should we head to the town and maybe see about governing it while we work out what happened to the mayor?
I mean, I guess we should find out what's really going on over there.
Hey, dog. And she's just going to throw a stick for it as they're walking back.
Okay.
How wet can I get the dog? How far can I throw that? I'm going oceanwards. Does the idiot dog follow?
Yeah.
Yes.
As it's swimming along, in fact, you notice something else in the water. Swimming urgently towards the dog.
Freeze, call
Something
your
with a
dog.
wriggly back.
Doggo, come here. I think it's time to go.
So the dog's stick in mouth is starting to paddle back when a large few shapes start swimming towards it urgently. You see the ridges on the back, and Latonk, you can hear it. The dog also notices and is now swimming, attempting to swim quickly back to shore.
I guess we'd better do some credits then. I'm Becky Toothill, and I can be found as Curiosity Epidemic on Twitter, SoundCloud, and YouTube. And if you wanted to see the character sheets for anybody that we're playing as, then they can be found on curiosityepidemic.wordpress.com. James didn't want to record any credits, but you can have these two.
I am Jane Eris Magnet. I can be found on Twitter and YouTube as Maniac Janiac. I can be found on SoundCloud as Jane Eris Magnet, where I do a comedy podcast talking about various bits of interesting media and music and stuff, games we played, and lots of silly skits. That's Queer and Pleasant Strangers that I do with Laura Kate Dale. Also on stonemonkeyradio.blog, where I write reviews. And I can be found every Thursday UK time around 19:30 hours over on twitch.tv/Janiac, where I'll be playing something with the help of my Sexy Potato Squad, my wonderful streaming community.
Hi, this is Nick, the Dungeon Master for the game, and you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and stream at the Nick Flair. And if you'd like to read some media analysis and self-reflections that I'm writing, you can follow my blog at storieswithnick.blog. Thanks for listening.